What's going on, game players? I want to welcome you guys to Listener Feedback, episode number 27. And in this week's episode, we have tuning in. We have up first, Mr. One Subset Tekken, who has written in yet again. Thank you so much, brother, for the email. I can't wait to get into it. We also have Cody Clark, the OG, has also written in this week. Thank you for being here as well, my good brother. And we have the return, the triumphant return of Vaughn, who has sent in a voicemail. Man, it has been such a long time since I have heard from you, brother. It is great. I mean, it is absolutely fantastic to hear your voice, and I can't wait to get into your voicemail. Thank you, brothers, for being here this week. Now, for you, the listener that is listening right now, if you want to be a part of the next listener feedback, which will be recorded next Wednesday, you can do it two different ways. You can either call in at 443-216-9934 and let your voice be heard. Or you can email the show, and the email address is the analogcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Also, if you want to check out some previously recorded episodes of the podcast, simply go over to Google, type it in, the Analog Circle Podcast over there. It'll take you to where you need to be, and you know the rest, and enjoy yourself. Now, guys, I want to go ahead and get things started, because I'm going to be honest with y'all. I got to get ready to leave out for work, and what about 2.5 hours? God dog, pray for me. All right, guys, let's see. What do we have here? Let's get into One Subset Tekken's email. Now, the title of his email is, "You Don't Have What?" He says, "Hello, Kiaun. I'm going to change it up this week. Oh, shucks, because this really punched me in the stomach. What was this, brother?" He says, "I'm listening to listener feedback, and I can't believe what I am hearing, Kiaun." Oh, man, what did I say? He says, "You don't have game..." Oh, man, nah, brother, I don't have it. He says, "You don't have Game Pass? What in the world? I know you don't play online, that's okay, but you don't subscribe to Game Pass? While all the gaming content that's there? It's just a surprise to me." Moving right along. First off, let me answer that, Mr. Good Brother. What's up, Set Tekken? Brother, the reason why I haven't gotten Game Pass yet is because I just like to own the games, and I understand that in the service, you have that option. Not only to own the game, but to get, 20 or 30% off on the purchase of the game. I absolutely get that and understand. But for me, most of the games that I want to play, I just want to own them, brother. So that's why I haven't gotten the service. It's not that I don't think the service is a great value. It's just for me, for what I am as a gamer, it just doesn't, it's not for me. Now, who's to say? When you have games like Starfield that release, and you have Elder Scroll and, what the world else ever send you a sacrifice. I mean, when you start getting well, I ain't gonna lie, I'm capping, brother. I'm lying to you. I doubt that I'm gonna play Elder Scrolls 6. I'm gonna take that off the table. I ain't played it in this long. I doubt that I'm gonna play it when the new one comes out. But a brand new Wolfenstein, oh, brother, you can count me in. But until that happens, when that huge amount of games start coming out from Microsoft first party, or unless they get GTA 6 in there on day one, that would break the whole internet. Unless something like that happens, I'm pretty good on the sideline for now. Now, who knows what can happen in the future once upset? I don't know, but for now, I'm okay, though. He says, now let me continue with your email. He says, as to Thrill Kill, what happened when it was canceled? The fighting game engine was sold to make Wu-Tang 36 Chambers, which is still today a very decent fighting game. I thought so. I wasn't 100% sure about that, but I thought that's what happened. So thank you for clarifying that, one subset. He says, and yes, Thrill Kill was a beat 'em up. No, was a 4-player fighting game. It can be downloaded for PC now. You can find YouTube videos on it. That really? So he really, man, I'm telling you, brother, when I went into the flea market, Patapsco Flea Market here in Baltimore, when I saw it on the screen, I said, this is just a next level. How the world did he get this? So I was completely shocked, but just the fact that you can download it on PC now, that's crazy. Finding YouTube videos, man, gaming today is nothing like it was back then. Have any of you guys, just out of curiosity, because you know we're older gamers, man, did any of y'all ever get any of your consoles modded back in the day where you would be able to play the Japanese version as well as the US version? Because you guys remember back then, you couldn't play imported discs on your regular PlayStation, you know, or your regular Dreamcast. You had to actually get the doggone thing switched over to be able to, you know, be the Japanese version. Man, crazy times back then. It was this place I used to go to, in Ricerstown Road Plaza back in the day. That was when I had got a imported Sega Dreamcast. Yeah, man, before it came out here in the States, those guys had it. I cannot remember I think it was called Power Gamer, I think, back in the day. And when I had bought the imported Sega Dreamcast, like one of the first games that I bought, it was Sonic. Of course I got Sonic, but I also got Blue Stinger. Everybody knew Blue Stinger was a poor man's Resident Evil, but shoot, it looked amazing at the time. And the thing that really stood out to me with Blue Stinger was when the character that used to be in the yellow shirt, the sidekick guy, he said, son of a, you know, he said the word, the B word, you know, and I was like, oh, I had never heard them go that hard before. Brothers, I was blown away. I said, oh man, this is adult gaming at its finest. This is amazing. So yeah, man, it was a heck of a time. I don't even know how I got on that, but oh yeah, talking about Thrill Kill and being on PC. Let me finish up your email here, brother. Golly. He says, like Don X found you from listening to GTR and a great find at that. Oh man, I appreciate that, man. I really enjoy the podcast. Sir William X, the other games are just food for thought. Oh, y'all going back at it again. Golly. Oh man, so Sir William X, you gotta listen up, brother. He is talking to you, Mr. One Subset Tekken. He says, let me repeat that. He says, I really enjoy the podcast. Okay. And thank you for that, brother. He says, Sir William X, the other games are just food for thought. Redemption is coming. We are going to finish the Tekken battle. I'm coming right. This brother said he is in the gaming gym. He has the controller in hand, getting his reflexes together, getting his button presses together, getting his combinations together. Sir William X, you better be ready, my good brother. Let me finish up your email here, one subset. He says, with that being said, please, this is this brother's thing right here. I'm glad you're going to finish this out, you know, the way you always do. He says, with that being said, please wash your face, hands, and butts, and please wear a mask. One more thing. Oh, shucks. just because you get vaccinated doesn't mean you don't have to wear a mask. Peace. Man, people getting way too comfortable. Ain't they one subset wanting to be all in your face and talking to you and whatnot, and we had a nerve to say, oh yeah, by the way, I'm vaccinated. I don't care. I don't want you 1 foot away from my face and I got my mask on. Brother, give me the 6 feet. Please just give me the 6. That's all I'm asking for, 6 feet. You know, ain't nothing changed out here. But yeah, I want to thank you for this. One subset Tekken, thank you for writing in. I appreciate you writing in every week, man. It's always a blast to read your emails. And hopefully, brother, hopefully you will have time to write in again next week, because I never take these for granted. When you guys write in, I mean, you guys are taking out time from your personal day, you know, to write in. And man, like I say, it really is so appreciated. So one subset Tekken, thank you again, brother, for the great email. And I look forward to this Sir William X battle that you guys are going to have, man. I want a front row seat, man. Somebody pull out an Elgato and record that, man. I want to see it. Definitely want to see who comes out the victor when it comes to that. But thank you again, one subset Tekken. And like I said, hopefully, just hopefully you'll have time to write in again next week. Now, up next, we have Cody Clark, the OG. Oh, man, this brother been rocking for years. Now, the title of his email is Some Sony Once Told Me the World Was Gonna Roll Me. Oh, man, what is going on? God dog, I am sweating. Sweat is getting in my eyes and it burns. Let me wipe my brow. God dog, hold on, fellas. Woo! All right, we are back. Now, let's see. Where is the email? There we go. Now, let's see. Cody says, Discord. Oh, man, did y'all see the news? Well, let's see what Cody says. He says, Discord gets approached by Microsoft for purchase. Lots of people hail the idea and others scream bloody murder. A week later, Discord rebuffs the $10 billion buyout to remain independent and look at becoming an IPO. Then they announce a partnership with Sony where they got a heavy investment from Sony, and Discord gets integrated, into the PSN in 2022. He says, sus much? I feel the clouds of a dirty backhand deal, playing one against the other. But we just call that business. Cody, man, let me tell you something. This one was baffling to me, and I understand what you mean. Was it a back alley deal, you know, where they were pinning Sony and Microsoft against each other? Now, granted, Microsoft, to my knowledge, that $10 billion that they were going to give Discord wasn't that well over the price of value of how much the company is actually worth? So I would have thought that they would have ran with that, they would have got the bag, and they would have got the heck out of Dodge. But I do understand what you mean. That weeks later, here they are with Sony. Sony cuts a bit of a deal. They throw them a couple of dollars, and all of a sudden, it's in doggone PSN coming in 2022. Golly, what is going on? But at the end of the day, though, Cody, man, you know what it is, brother. It is just business. You're right. They saw an angle. I mean, right now, Sony, they are the market leader. Now, I don't know. This probably has nothing to do with, PlayStation versus Xbox, because if they were paying you more than what your company was worth and you still turned it down, something had to be amiss. Something had to be wrong. I have no idea what that was, but for whatever reason, Discord felt more comfortable going with Sony. Who the world knows? Maybe we'll figure out what happened with this. Maybe somebody will come forward, maybe not. It might be one of those unsolved gaming mysteries, brothers. We have to wait and see. But thank you for this, Cody. I think you wrote in again, brother. So I'm gonna, let's see what we got here. Yeah, you did. You wrote in again. Now, the title of this email that you wrote is called, let's see, Trophy Life. Okay. He says, I can't even. Oh, man, what is going on? Oh, this got to be about the achievements. He says, I can't even. But in some cases, Game Pass Ultimate rewards you and tosses extra privileges at you. So sometimes I was hoping for a revamp of the system to give more points if you spend more time in a game. I've never been a completionist, but to get all 1,000 in points does feel nice. So both and neither, Cody. Yeah, brother, like I said, Red Dead Redemption 2, and I had forgot to mention Hive Busters was also a game where I got like a couple of diamond achievements. First off, God dog, Xbox fans, what happened? What the world happened with Hive Busters? Hive Busters is on Game Pass. Hive Busters was $20, brand new, and hardly anybody beat the game. This game is like 3 hours long. Now, I know I got some nerve, brothers and sisters. I know I do. Where Sir William X, he had to call me out about Little Nightmares, talking about the game is only 4 or 5 hours. You should have beat that, man. I'm telling you. I'm out there saying to myself, God, dog, yeah, this brother really called me out. I better get on my sticks and get ready to try to beat this game. Start feeling a certain kind of way. Shout out to Sir William X when he broke it down. You know, it's only a 5-hour game. I'm like, God, dog, man, that's a good call. That's honest. You know, so my thing is with Hive Busters, I know I beat that game in about 3, no more than 4 hours, man. And just the fact that hardly anybody even beat the game, where just beating the game on any level of difficulty resulted in a diamond achievement. I'm like, oh man, it's a great game, guys. I know that I'm similar to some of you guys where Gears of War has been long in the tooth. You know, it's definitely been, I would say, overworked, you know, as an IP lately. And so much so where people just think it's Halo, Gears, and Forza. You know, so yes, it could definitely use a break. But when I say that Hive Busters was like, man, that game was just so good. The brand new cast of characters, the story was, it was short, but it was just perfect. You know, the length of time that it took to beat, I thought it didn't, overstay its welcome. You were in and out, and the way that it ended, it was like, man, it was just perfect, man. So if you haven't played it, I would definitely recommend it. Don't let the new characters kind of scare you off, because they're actually pretty good, man. So yeah, but Cody, yeah, man, like I said, Red Dead Redemption, Hive Busters, maybe a few more. I think it's been a couple, sprinkled here and there, but just like yourself, Cody, man, brother, I'm not going out of my way. If it happens, it does. If it doesn't, oh well. Like I said, man, usually when I beat a game, I'm gone. I'm leaving, and most of the time I ain't coming back, because it's like my backlog is ridiculous. So whenever I get the chance to jump onto something else and drop something else, that's what I do, man. But Cody, thank you again, brother. Thank you for rocking out with your guy, man, for years. Matter of fact, hold up. I gotta do an honorable mention here. I gotta shout out my brother Goose. Goose has been around for a long time too. And Goose actually Goose made himself a cake, man. This brother, He has a 200,000 gamer score, man. So shout out to Goose, brother. Hey, man, 200,000. Brother, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't even got that. I ain't got that, Goose. I do not have that, but shout out to you for such a high gamer score, man. That is awesome. Yes, indeed, man. Plus the cake looks mighty tasty, I might say, brother. Good grief. Look like a big hostess cake over there, man. Shout out to you for your baking skills, brother. Now we have up next, which is going to take us out into the sunset. And man, this brother hasn't been on in quite some time. So what I tell y'all is great to hear from him. And then I can't wait to get into his voicemail. We have Vaughn, who's going to take us on out, brother. So without further ado, let's get into your voicemail.
What's up, Kiaun? It's Vaughn. Just wanted to call in real quick. Drop a line in on you, tell you that you've been killing it. Keep doing what you're doing. Let's talk about Nintendo real quick. There is a documentary. I love gaming documentaries. If anyone is interested and you have the Crackle app, check out this documentary about Nintendo. It's called Playing with Powers, a Nintendo Story. It's really cool. Even if you just have a slight interest in Nintendo or the gaming industry, it's a real cool documentary talking about how Nintendo, saved the gaming industry and the things that they contributed, and how they, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have PlayStation and things like that, the controllers, they go through it all. So check that out. It's pretty cool. My question for you is, what memory do you have of, if you've ever indulged in the PlayStation Home app, if you remember that? Did you ever dabble in that, or anything that you can remember about that? I saw an article about PlayStation. Sony is going to be, or they already did, re-up on the name. They renewed the name of the PlayStation Home. So I wanted to see what you thought about that. What do you think the possibilities of the PlayStation Home? Is it going to be something for the PlayStation 5, something completely different? What do you think? Or are they just keeping the name alive for future use? What do you think about that? All right, that's it for me. Just a little quick call in. Keep doing what you're doing. Everything's fire. It's going. I'm out. Peace.
Man, Vaughn, brother, I'm telling you, man, shout out to you for doggone that voicemail, man. Golly, it seems like it has been months since I have heard from you, brother, as far as like calling into the show. And it's just great to have you on this week. Thank you, man. Now getting into your voicemail here. Crackle. I did hear about the documentary. I can't say that I've seen it yet though, Vaughn, because I don't have the Crackle app or, the Crackle service. So I haven't been able to see the documentary. But man, the thing about that is, now you're playing with power. Golly, Nintendo was something else back in the day. They were hungry, man. They was starving out there with the Nintendo powers, just doing their thing. It was great. But the thing is, Vaughn, what interests me about this the most, this documentary, is, as you mentioned, and I think it was very, very interesting, that how, of course, we all know, us the older guys, we know that Nintendo, without them, good grief, there's no telling what the world would have happened with gaming after the crash, the huge gaming crash in the 80s, a billion ET game cartridges from Atari 2600 getting doggone buried in the, what was it, New Mexico or Mexico. And the crazy thing about that is, and I know I'm going way off here for a second, Vaughn, but I'm going to bring it full circle, brother. But the thing about that was when we were kids, man, and we heard these stories, they buried all of the ET cartridges out in a desert. in Mexico. It was almost like folklore, gaming folklore, like tales, about gaming, so it was like, man, is that really real? Did that happen? No way it could have happened. And then years and years and years and years later, we found out that, God dog, they really did do that. It was amazing. So yeah, Nintendo, they definitely saved gaming, the power pad, the zapper, just so many innovations, the analog sticks, the rumble technology. Nintendo were amazing, but they was also, man, they was on their BS too, brother. When they had tried to go to court, I'm just asking all of these things, Vaughn, as far as what they covered. But do you guys remember, and Vaughn, you too, brother, particularly, when Nintendo, they tried to make it illegal for the video companies to actually rent out their games, how they tried to make a law where they couldn't do that. Tell you, Nintendo, man, it's shiesty. God dog, shiesty and cutthroat. So cutthroat that, and we know this, Vaughn, just going back to this documentary and just wondering how much of Nintendo's past did they cover. But the thing that I wanted to circle back around to was when you had mentioned PlayStation. All of us know that years and years ago that Nintendo and PlayStation were supposed to collaborate. I believe it was Ken Kutaragi? I believe, I might be off on that, but the one of the original guys that was on the PlayStation, I believe he had made the soundboard or something like that, and they were supposed to collaborate and use, Sony's technology, and then they ran off on the plug and went with, who was it, Philips? I think it was Philips, because Zelda had released on CDI, I think, because of that deal. So that's why I'm guessing it was Philips, but I could be wrong, where they had announced that and just really stabbed Sony in the back, made them look bad, embarrassed them, and because of that, and Nintendo being so arrogant back then, they just let Sony just take the technology of what would become the PlayStation. Because I remember reading Next Generation magazine, and back then in an article, golly, what was I forgot the code name of it, but it was a project. Oh man, I'm forgetting, man. Doggone, I can't remember, brother. It was Project something years ago when those two guys had actually were about to collaborate, and things just fell by the wayside. We know how it went. And I'm just curious to know, Vaughn, did they cover all of that? Not just the good stuff that Nintendo did, but also, man, the back alley shady dealings that Nintendo was known for, being just a cutthroat gaming, what they turned into be a gaming juggernaut. Just curious to know, how far did they go, into their backstory and their dealings with Sony and the video companies and all of the practices, brother. But getting to the second part of your voicemail, talking about PlayStation Home. Listen, man, that brother, you took me into a time machine. Golly. PlayStation Home, I remember playing that on the PS3 and being not blown away, not so much like, whoa, but the thing that really was impressive to me, because you asked me, was there a moment that really stood out to me, with that, I don't know if you would have called it a service, because it wasn't a game. It was more so like a community, I guess, where you could meet people. I remember one of the things that stood out to me in PlayStation Home was when I actually saw a trailer of a video game on the screen inside of the virtual world, where I was like, whoa, this is like a real video clip of a game that's coming soon that they're playing. And it just keeps on, playing itself over and over again. I think it was in the movie theater. I think it was there. They had a screen outside. So I know it's not a crazy thing that happened, but that just stood out to me like, wow. They're trying to really make this like, I mean, of course it's not, but as close to real life virtually as they can. So that definitely stood out to me, Vaughn. And just the fact that they've trademarked that. Oh, man, that ain't the only thing that they've trademarked. Let me tell you, we going to talk about that on Sunday. Sony, that is. Oh, man. Oh, goodness. I'm sure you guys have heard what happened, but we going to save it for Sunday's show. But, yeah, just the fact that they're, trademarking that again, I don't think it would be a bad idea for them to give it another shot. I mean, right now, the PlayStation 5 is doing amazingly well. It's well on its way to 10 million. It'll probably hit it before the midway point, or at least the midway point of the year. The only thing I think that will hold back the numbers, Vaughn, is if Sony can't manufacture enough of them. I think that's the only problem. And I think that for the time being, also Microsoft, that's the same thing with them, because people are buying these consoles left and right. They can't keep them in the store. So with that being said, them having a big fan base coming off of a huge win from the PlayStation 4 era, I think it would be great for them to try to reintroduce this, maybe change a couple of things here and there, make it so you can, I guess, voice chat, maybe, because I think back then you could only type, if I'm not mistaken, or you might have been able to use your microphone. I'm not too sure. But with that and the new technology now, man, they could really make it a heck of a place, man. And plus being able to buy clothes, hats, shirts, and, well, shirts are clothes, but you know what I'm saying? Just kind of making your avatar the way that you wanted them to be, having a house, buying furniture. It was a really, really cool thing to see. I didn't really get heavy into it, Vaughn, like where I start investing into the avatar or anything like that. But, I messed around with it for a little bit. It was something a little new for me. So, yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. And I thought that it could have had legs if they had just changed a few things up. And with them, like I said, well, like you told me, Vaughn, them trademarking the name of it, maybe their second time out, they'll be able to do a little bit better and it'll catch on a little bit more. So, yeah, we'll have to just wait and see and, see what happens in the future with that. But Vaughn, brother, don't stay away so long, man. Next time. It's always great to have you on the show, hearing your thoughts, hearing what you got to say, because I like the fact that you always switch it around on me, brother, and ask me a question. You know what I mean? I love that, man. So I definitely appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you again for taking out the time, from your day to actually call in. I'm going to tell you, man, for a minute, Vaughn, hey, brother, I thought the phone number might not have been working. I was getting a little nervous, brother. I'm like, oh, shucks, man, should I call myself to make sure that the phone is working? Because this is crazy, or the number was working. So, yeah, man, but thank you for that, Vaughn, and hopefully I will hear from you, or we will hear from you next week. Now, before we wrap this show up, man, I want to bring something to you guys' attention. And this is a story over on Tweaktown, where it says that Xbox's Phil Spencer is still holding out hope that its game streaming service could show up on competing platforms. New emails from the Epic versus Apple trial show. Now, let me see, where is it? It says in 2020, email conversations with Epic CEO Tim Sweeney spotted by The Verge. Xbox's division head Phil Spencer says he has, quote, hasn't given up on launching xCloud game streaming on other platforms, end of quote. Well, actually, the quote was over when hasn't given up. That was the end of the quote. But this is my question. Here it is. It seems like Phil Spencer And man, we got some more news about Sony too, Sony and Epic. It's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about on Sunday. And some of these stories I'm sure you guys have heard, but we're going to talk about it again on Sunday. But these documents that have been being leaked out, because of this trial with Apple and Epic, it's some interesting stuff in these docs. Believe me, these documents really reveal quite a bit. But my question to you guys is this. If this happens, now we had heard, that this was, hearsay, this is ultimately what's going to happen. But just the fact that Phil Spencer has said he is not giving up, launching this xCloud game streaming service on other platforms, meaning in short, both Nintendo and PlayStation. If that was to happen, and I think I had asked this before, but knowing that this is definitely a reality, this isn't hearsay, this is in documentation, in documents, in emails, email conversations that Phil Spencer wants this to happen. Would you guys still have an Xbox? Or would you guys say, the heck with the Xbox, I don't need it, I'll just play on the Nintendo Switch or my PlayStation? Now, granted, it's really of no benefit, I don't think, to PlayStation or Nintendo, which is why he said he's not giving up, because quite possibly they probably said, no, Phil, I don't see what we get out of this deal. How's this benefiting us and you're eating off of us? No, we're not doing that. And in the story we're going to go over on Sunday, we're going to talk about a certain company saying, if we can't eat off of this, in so many words, if we can't eat, then we ain't doing it. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that on Sunday. But finishing up with this, would you guys still see the value in the Xbox console? Everybody keeps saying that, Game Pass, and I know it too, it's the end game for them, but the console is still going to be relevant and all of this stuff. I don't really, as much as I don't want to believe it, because it's a bit of a denial there, where I would hope that the console would still be just as important to Microsoft, that they would keep it relevant, that they would continue to compete, even though, they haven't, been competing 100% lately. They've been doing a couple of things. The Bethesda deal is huge. Game Pass is doing wonderful right now, but they still struggling. They are struggling. So with all that being said, would you guys just drop the Xbox and just say, you know what? If it's on the PlayStation, I can play it on there, that device, or the Switch. Man, the heck with it. I don't need the Xbox. For me, similar to the PC conversation, if PlayStation games were ever to come to PC day and date, and we know that Microsoft games are there already day and date, for the most part, with a lot of them, gotta make some tough decisions, so that's all I'm asking you guys. Well, I was so long-winded with that. Anyway, if you do want to be a part of the conversation, and trust me, you don't have to, just think that you can only be a part of the conversation by giving your thoughts on that question. If you want to ask me a question or just voice your opinion, you can do it two different ways. Either call in at 443-216-9934 and let your voice be heard, or email the show, and the email address is the analogcirclepodcast@gmail.com. I was your host, Kiaun Mitchell. Thank you guys for being here. Shout out to Cody Clark, One Subset Tekken, and shout out to the guy making his return, Vaughn. Shout out to you, brothers. And thank you guys listening right now, because without you guys listening, the show is not worth doing. Believe you me. So with that being said, about to wrap this on up. Basically get out there, play some games, and enjoy yourself.